Standing in front of the police station here, Spalding Police Station. They have 1930 on it. I guess they established it here in 1930. I was told that the cemetery is right between the school and the police station here. And I just saw it. Just saw the cemetery here. So this is Spalding Cemetery. There's a plaque here. It says donated by Azan's family, 1962. Alright, so this is the cemetery. One of my subscribers suggests this place. So I say, okay, let me come and visit it. I'm gonna walk down to see how far the cemetery goes before I start reading any of the graves. It's kind of on a slope. That's what you call it, a hill. Okay, so it goes all the way down there. All the way down there. And I think what I'm gonna do is to really start all the way from down here, rather than start on the side of the road. So what I noticed about the cemetery is that it's very clean. Absolutely very clean. And you can see behind me, there's a school here behind me. Standing here, I don't even know the name of the school. I just know that there's a school here behind me. And the cemetery is like between the school and the police station. So I'm going all the way down to the last part of the cemetery, and then I'm gonna go up. I'm at the last part. I'm seeing a grave down here by itself. I don't know if it is part of the cemetery or maybe it's part of that house there. I'm not gonna go down there. It looks like it's part of a private place. Alright, so I'm at the last end down here of the cemetery. And I'm just gonna go into the reading now. So let's find out the history of some of the people who are buried here. I don't know if I'll be able to read all of them. So let me begin. If the sky is dark, you can see over there, the rain is going to fall. I always have rain when I go far out to read cemetery. So let me begin before this rain breaks out. So I'm standing here in front of a grave with a picture. And this is the resting place of this lady whose photograph you can see here. It says, in memory of a dear wife, mother, grand and great grandmother, Elise Wilkinson Ashley. 1938 to 2016. 1938 till 2016, it's actually, that's a long time. That's a long time. Here we are at the grave of this lady, and it says, in loving memory of our dear beloved mother, grandmother, great grandmother, great great grandmother, Myrtle Gloria Johnson. Sunrise October 22, 1926 to sunset September 21, 2015. Myrtle Gloria Johnson. She's resting here in the Spalding Cemetery. Here we have a grave, and there's nothing on it. Nothing on it at all. And here's another grave, and they had a nameplate, and it says Ferris Walters. Ferris Walters. The design of this grave is absolutely cute. I like it. You know, it says Vervelin Johnson. That's Vervelin May Johnson. May 21, 1935 to May 26, 2018. Goes on to say her love for God, His creation, and her family transcends generations. She opens her mouth with her wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. Oh, this is a proverb. Proverb 31, verse 26. The resting place of Vervelin May Johnson. We're always gonna see graves without names, without any writings. So that's typical. Sometimes there are writings on them, but over time, you know, it erodes. So here we are at this grave of this man. And it says, in loving memory of our beloved father, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather Samuel Lloyd Johnson. Sunrise April 24, 1924 to sunset May 14, 2003. So 1924 to 2003. The grave of Samuel Lloyd Johnson. I start to feel the rain. It's gonna rain, man. It's gonna rain. This says, in loving memory of our beloved mother and grandmother, Eulalie Compass, otherwise called Miss Collie. Sunrise April 2, 1928. Sunset the 24th of January. Sadly missed by children and grandchildren. Two gone Gone too soon, but not forgotten. Eulalie Compass. Compass. I've never heard that last name before. I've never heard it before. So the rain is slowly dewing heavier. This grave says, in loving memory of William M. Wright. Bill. He was called Bill, but his full name is William M. Wright. November 1926 to May 1983. It says, leaving wife Ida, children Valerie, Saint Ledger, and grandchildren. The grave of William Wright. In loving memory of a dear father, Cyril S. Stewart, died January 25, 1983, age 63. Cyril S. Stewart. He died in 1983. Besides Cyril here, we have a grave that is all grilled around. And look at this headstone. You might say, oh my God, it's going bad. But no, it's not going bad. It just needs to be brushed off, scrubbed off carefully. It says, in loving memory of a dear mother, Cynthia R. Barnett, born the 10th of the 7th, 1901, died the 3rd of the 5th, 1980. So that's Cynthia Barnett, 1901 to 1980. So they grilled around her grave. When you see a grave is grilled around, what's the purpose? The purpose of grilling around a grave is to protect it from, animals and, it's protect it from individuals walking on it and dirtying it up, things like that. So we're here now at another grilled up grave beside Cynthia. This one says, in loving memory of our dear mother and beloved wife, what's this? So I paused to pronounce her first name, but I don't understand this font. So, but I know the part is say Adassa May. That's her name. She was born the 1 of the 12, 1926, and she died the 5 of the 10, 2004. We have here a little baby grave. We have here a baby grave. It has writing on it, but the writing has it's all rubbed out. Look as if it says born 1975 and died 1976. Could I make out the name? If I don't know the name, I can't do a research. Let me see. So I'm unable to make out the name. Unable to make out the name of this baby. 1975 to 1976. Would have been a very big man and woman, right? Or woman right now. And you can see here, this is also obviously the grave of another child. Grave of another child. I see here, this grave look a little short, but it doesn't mean that it was the grave of a child. So let me read it. It says, in loving memory of a dear husband, Alfred Powell, born the 17th of October 1944, died the 31st of January 1974. So 1944 to 1974. He was young. He was young. Described as a dear husband. Here we have another grave all grilled up. The grill is rusting, but the headstone still look beautiful. Maybe the headstone was recently placed there, because the rest of the grave you can show evidence of being here a long time. All right, this says in loving memory of my dear beloved one, George Stafford May, born January 19, 1953, died May 17, 1972, age 19 years. So George Stafford was 19 years old when he died. 19 years old when he died in 1972. And his last name is May. And I'm wondering if he is related to the lady over there. I think so, you know. I think this must have been his mother, this lady. They have the same last name. And the headstone are similar. So it's like the same time they put on this headstone for her, they also put on the headstone for him. It's very similar. Similar headstones. I'll check it out. George Stafford May died May 17, 1972 at age 19. I'll try to find out what he died from. Look up there. Those graves are built up on the hilly side of this cemetery, and the dirt underneath is falling apart. It's falling apart, could easily expose, but I'm gonna go up there, but let me see who's buried here. Says, in loving memory of our dear beloved father and grandfather, George May. Sunrise, the 12th of the 5th, 1924. Sunset, the 4th of the 9th, 2008. So George May lived from 1924 to 2008. That's a long time. All right, so this grave here, this grave here is so crazy. You know, there's not even anything on top of it. Badly constructed, terribly constructed. So I'm going up at the top of this place. And we can see here, say, in loving memory of Rosen R. Kirby. She was born March 16, 1903 and died June 12, 1980. Rosalind R. Kirby. This must be her husband. Hubert Kirby from August 4, 1889 to October 28, 1978. So no doubt this is the husband and that is the wife. Seem like the rain is giving me some time to do my recording. Thankfully. All right, is that a grave? This here, is this a grave? I don't know. Here we are at this grave here, and this is the resting place of Pansy Lynn. So that's Pansy Lynn, born July 27, 1947, died February 5, 1978. The resting place of Pansy Lynn. Oh, right. I don't think I can make this out. I don't think I can make this out at all. I'm just gonna pass that one. Here is one that I believe I can make out. Say, in loving memory of our dear mother and grandmother, Ellen Smart, who left us on January 13, 1979, age 90. Ellen Smart. She died on January 13, 1979 at age 90. That's a long life, Ellen. That's a long life. Age 90. That's a long life. In loving memory of Melbourne Davis, husband, father, son, brother, uncle, friend. He was born on July 23, 1932, and he died on January 11, 1978. Melbourne Davis. They love you, Melbourne. They describe you husband, father, son, brother, uncle, friend. Oh, we know this was a long time one. In loving memory of Charles C. Lindsay. That's Charles C. Lindsay. Died the 14th of September 1966. You get to see Jamaica becoming independent, Charles, and celebrated before you died 4 years later. So we're in this little grilled up section here. 2 graves here grilled up. And normally when they grilled up 2 graves or more, it means that these people were family. You can see these have been here for a long time. They're rusty. Says, in loving memory of Kipling G. Allen. Kipling is pronounced K-I-P-L-I-N. Says Kipling G. Allen. Born the 1st of July 1949. Died the 29th of September 1970. Age 21. Yeah, age 21, because 1949 to 1970, that's 21 years. So he was 21 years old. Kipling G. Allen died at age 21 in 1970. And over here, another Allen, say, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, Roy J. Allen. Born the 21st of July 1919, died the 3rd of November 1972. So this might have been the father. This might have been the father, and that's the son. You know, he was born in 1919, and Kipling was born in 1949. So, yeah, could be his father. Could be father and son. All right, let me go over here. And of course, I can only read graves that have writings on them. This grave, you can see that it was up there and it somehow got down here. I'm not going to touch it. It's heavy. Let's leave it. And it's difficult to read. This is a grave of Xenia McLarty. So Xenia McLarty, October 14, 1911, and she died May 1, 1999. Xenia McLarty. All right, I'm going to go back down there and read all those graves down there. I'm getting hoarse. I need to drink some water. All right, so I'm still down here. And I'm here at the grave of Hyacinth Dorothy Simpson. So it says, in loving memory of Hyacinth Dorothy Simpson, Miss Icy, mother, grand and great grandmother. She was born on the 25th of December 1923, and she died the 11th of the 8th 2015. So this is the resting place of Hyacinth Dorothy Simpson, and they called her Miss Icy. Look at that. Look at this grave over here, designed like a coach. Designed like a coach, but it's missing the headstone. Look at this grave here. What do you call this color? Black and gold. I think that's the color, black and gold. If I'm colorblind, you know. So in my mind, I say gold. So hopefully that's what it is. This says Leslie Graham, born November 24, 1934, died February 8, 2004. So he was about, not sure, maybe okay, my maths is terrible on the spot. So this is the grave of Leslie Graham. And there's a nice flowers here. Nice, yeah, rose. What you call this? Rose. Lovely. And they have painted up his grave. So they love you, Leslie. Still remembering you. Beside his grave, we have the grave of Josephine Eunice Orr. Is that called his last name? Orr. She was called Miss Joe. She was born on June 12, 1912, and died on January 29, 2005. Miss Joe, her name Josephine Eunice Orr. I hope I pronounced the last name right. Orr. And she's beside her husband here. She's beside her husband. I believe this is her husband. Says, in loving memory of our dear father and grandfather, Ivan Stanley Orr. And he was called Abba. He was born in 1898 and he died on April 21, 2000. So this is Abba, the husband, and Miss Joe, the wife. Husband and wife together here in the cemetery here in Spalding. Conroy A. Wint. Conroy A. Wint. Born the 15th of the 2, 1956. Died the 3 of the 11, 1979. And they say joyfully remembered by family and friends. You know, Conroy Wint. He was young. He was born in 1956 and died in 1979, which means that he was about 23. He was about 23 or 22 when he died. Young guy, Conroy A. Wint. Let me go back down here and find out these two people who are buried here in this grilled up area. I'm gonna just step over and let me read these two graves here. Probably husband and wife. Usually that's the case. This says, oh, piece of the name is so rubbed out. So I don't know. I see Miller. So this could be DeMiller Dixon. Born February 1964. Died August 1998. Sadly missed by mother and brothers. So it could be DeMiller. Part of it is all rubbed off. And up here, we have the grave of James Dixon. James Dixon. It says, in loving memory of a dear husband and father, James A. Dixon, died the 27th of August 1984. All right. I don't know if they were. I don't think this is husband and wife, because Mr. James, he died in 1984. I don't see his date of birth. 1984. And this Dixon died in 1998 but was born in 1964, which means that this person was about 20 years old when James Dixon up there so died. So it could be father and child. Father and child, I don't know. But I don't think that was husband and wife. All these graves are left blank. Look over there. Flood water is doing this grave really bad. Oh my God. It's doing it really bad. Look at what the water did to this part of this grave. And this grave down here, I wonder if this ground is stable for me to step on. So this grave down here is as if the water push it. And look under there. You can see that the water pushed this grave. It digged up underneath there, but thankfully nothing is open. So this grave that is all the way over here in the bush, let's find out who it was. In loving memory of a dear husband, father, and grandfather, William Lloyd Turner. August 6, 1926 to December 3, 2001. So 1926 to 2001, William Lloyd Turner. His grave is getting a beating down here due to flood water. I know that's flood water. Flood water did this. All of this flood water did it. And beside him, not much beside him, because he's pushed down there by the flood water. Beside him, we have the grave of let me see if I can make out the name here. What is this? Hold on. So I paused to figure out the name, but I don't know. It looks like it says Morris John. Morris John. Anyway, 1930 to 2000. This grave has nothing on it. This person gonna be easily forgotten. There's nothing on it. Look at these graves down here. Oh, again, flood water pushed them down there. Look at this one. This one pretty much flood water again sent it down there. It has a headstone, but I'm not gonna spend any time creeping away things to read. So flood water again send it down there. This one again is broken up. Flood water doing it terribly. This one is also suffering flood water damage. Flood water digs up underneath it. That one up there again, same thing, flood water. And so pretty much all the graves on the side here suffering from, have been damaged by flood water. Let me see if I can read this. This is the grave of John H. Sprago. John H. P. R. No. S. S. P. R. A. G. O. R. G. That's. I hope I figure it out later. I don't know what that is. 1967 to 2006. This grave was also grilled around. The grill has rusted. And you know, if you just come and paint the grill, just scrub it and paint it, it can look good again. It can make this grave great again. Let me go in and see. This is the resting place of Oswald MacLeod. In loving memory of a dear father, grand and great-grandfather, Oswald C. MacLeod. Born the 5 of the 2, 1895, died the 23 of the 12, 1984. Sadly missed by loved ones. May your memory continue lingering in our hearts. Yes. And beside Oswald, we have the grave of David Johnson. David Johnson. He died on the 25th of December, 1986. So he died on Christmas Day in 1986. David Johnson died on Christmas Day. Behind David, we have Daisy Johnson. Daisy Johnson died December 10, 1983. Daisy Johnson. Could be related, you know. Daisy and David Johnson could be husband and wife. Who knows? Look at this cute grave. Nice, cute design. This is the resting place of can't read this. Can't read this. But the person born 1923 and died 1986. I don't know what that is. All right, so it's time. I love that school. Look at that school. I love the design. I love the design, you know. Looks so, you know, elegant. Just down here looking upon it, you know. This is the resting place of, hold on, let me go around and see if I can read it more properly. Okay, it says, in loving memory of Louise Mundell Henry, Miss Lou. She was born on March 17, 1917, and she died on May 28, 2006. Miss Lou, And you know she born around the same time as the popular Miss Louise Bennett. I think Louise Bennett was born in 1919. So she born like 2 years before the famous Miss Lou. This grave was recently painted up. Let me see if I can read the headstone. Uh, is this Francis? Francis Thompson. That's Francis Thompson. She was born in 1916 and she died 1998. 1916 to 1998. They came and they painted up her grave, which shows that, they remember her. Someone put some paint on this grave here. Maybe they were painting up Francis over there and they just come over here and empty the paint here, or they tested out on here. I don't know. But this doesn't look like they were planning to paint this grave at all, because if that was the case, then they would have cleaned it up. So they were probably painting Francis over there and they just decided to done a paint over here. Oh, these are the older graves, Look at this one. Again, the dirt washed away around it. Just leave the look top. Oh. This is hard to make out. Hard to make out. But the person, like they... Alright, let's leave that. I don't want to read wrong information. Look at this cute grave. The headstone, but it's an old grave. This looks like it was way back. But the back of it, look at the design at the back. You know? These are two graves attached to each other. Must be husband and wife. In loving memory of a beloved wife and mother, Mrs. Ada Barnes, died the 24th of March 1966, aged 41. Ada Barnes. She died all the way back in 1966. That's a long time. My mother was like 3 years old at the time. My God, that's a long time. Oh, look at this little baby grave here. They wrote something on it, but over time, it's all gone. Oh, this grave is broken up. Broken up. Even the headstone fell off. And it looked like it's readable now. Hold on, let me see if I can turn it. I don't think it was on this grave. You think it was on this grave? I don't know. But it says, oh, no, I can't read that. It's difficult. Difficult. So this grave, it says, in loving memory of a dear father and grandfather, Stanford Mackenson, born June 1910, died September 6, 1996. So Mr. Stanford Mackinson, born in 1910, died in 1996. They came on the grill, not grill, tiled up this grave, but look at this tree. It came and it fell on it. I guess the persons who, you know, related to this deceased don't know, but they will know now that this big tree is on the grave and they can come with a machete and clean it up. And this is the grave of Charles Howard Wright. Sunrise December 22, 1912. Sunset October 29, 1996. Charles Howard Wright, 1912 to 1996. And you know, somebody actually chopped the tree, you know, look at it. You can see that the tree was chopped when it turned over, but then it fell on the grave and they just left it, you know. You can see that a lot of water moved through this cemetery when the rain fall. Look at that. That's definitely over there, that bush over there. That's where the water goes. In loving memory of our dear father, Othniel Armstrong, born the 25th of the 7th, 1923, died the 8th of the 2, 1989. Othniel Armstrong. I don't know. I think Othniel Armstrong was a nice man, you know, intelligent man. Sometimes the name just say intelligence. I don't know. In loving memory of Kelvin A. Rose, beloved son, brother, husband, and father, born March the 3rd, 1938, died January 10th, 1989. 1938 to 1989. He was about 51. About that. 50 or 51 when he died. Winford M. Britton. That's Winford M. Britton. The 31 of the 12th, 1931 to the 29 of the 2, 1988. And here we have the resting place of Felix D. Toyloy. So that's Toy Loy. Never heard that surname before. Born the 2 of the 7th, 1917. Died the 13th of the 6th, 1990. And here we have on his grave an urnement, Lynn P. Toyloy, 8 of the 2, 1919 to the 2 of the 10, 2012. This is the resting place of Marcella Turner. Marcella Turner, May 30, 1929 to April 10, 2019. Marcella Turner. David McPherson. David McPherson, 1876 to 1980. Wow, hold on. 1876 to 1980. He was about 106-year old. No, 124. Yeah, he was about 104 years old. 1876 to 1980. David McPherson. That's a long life, Mr. McPherson. If you can live to see the 100 mark, man, that you have a long life. Darcus McPherson. That's Darcus McPherson, probably related to David. Was it David? Yeah, David McPherson. So you say, in loving memory of a dear wife and mother, Darcus McPherson, born the 28th of February 1896, died the 22nd of December 1946. Oh, so she was about 50. She was about 50 years old when she died. Darcus McPherson. In loving memory of a dear father and grandfather, Wilfred S. McPherson, born January 7, 1895, died May 6, 1980. So this McPherson, Wilfred McPherson, and Darcus McPherson are likely related to Mr. David McPherson, who was buried down there. I know the rain is gonna fall, but it's holding out. It's holding out. In loving memory of a dear mother, Alice S. Rose. Such a lovely name, Alice Rose. Died on the 18th of September 1962, age 89 years. And over here we have John Rose. Maybe this is her husband. In loving memory of a dear husband and father, John A. Rose, born the 17th of January, 1898, died the 5th of May, 1950. And John Levine Rose, son and brother, born the 14th of February, 1938, died the 25th of June. The 25th of June, he died, 1945. So, this is the resting place of two persons, John A. Rose and John Levine Rose. And they say son and brother. So John Levine Rose was only about 7 years old. Yeah, 7 years old when he died. But John A. Rose, he was in his 50s when he died. This is the grave of Gerald Kirby. Say, in loving memory of a beloved husband and father, Gerald Kirby, born the 19th November 1895, died the 2nd April 1970. And it says, memories are treasures no one can steal. Death leaves wounds no one can heal. Our sad memories will ever linger. Well, he died from a long time. I think many of you who believe in these words either have passed away or have long moved on. He died on the 2nd of April, 1970, which is 55 years ago. 55 years ago, Gerald Kirby died. That's a long time ago. Beryl Etta Rose, 19 of the 9, 1914 to the 28th of the 1, 1996. Beryl Etta Rose. And beside her, we have Robert Rose. This could be the husband, Robert S. Rose. He was born the 18th of the 11th, 1903. Died the 5th of the 8th, 2002. He was almost 100. Sadly missed by children, grand and great children. So he was almost 100. And so he lived something like 6 years after the death of his wife. They are now here in the cemetery here in Spalding. Almost 100, Robert Rose. Here we have another Rose. So in loving memory of David E. Rose. He was born the 25th of December 1906, which was Christmas Day. The 25th of November 1906. And he died the 9th of February 1937. Wow. 1937, that's a long time. He was young. So we have a lot of Rose here. All those in here are Rose. So you have David E. Rose, John A. Rose, Alice S. Rose, Beryl Etta Rose, Robert S. Rose. Lot of Rose, Rose, Rose. This is a sweet corner, a very sweet corner because it's filled with rose. In memory of our sister, what's this? In memory of our sister, Irene Toyloy. I've heard that last name somewhere down previously. Somewhere down there, I've read the Toyloy. Toyloy, Toyloy. So this is a grave of Irene Toyloy, who died on the 23rd of January, 1975. She died in 1975. The person who suggests this grave, one of my viewers, he was so right. Assume it was a he. He was so right. There are, what did he say again? Old historic graves, something like that. And he's so right. So right. Look at this grave. I love the tiling. Beautiful tiling. And this is another rose. See, in loving memory of Rachel Monica Rose, October 4, 1946 to April 20, 2015. Rachel Monica Rose. I believe she's related to the Rose down there. No doubt. She died in 2015. In loving memory of Trevor D. Kirby, born March 1944, died December 1985. Your headstone still looking good. Trevor Kirby. Wow. This school building is very imposing. That's the word? You have to look up. Wow, it's like, you know, when you're watching those movies and they're showing those big apartment buildings. So I've read all the graves down there. When I say read all, I mean the ones that could be read. I've read them. You know, these were people who were walking around, the good, the bad, you know, the accomplished, the educated, the not so educated, the beautiful, the not so beautiful. There's hardly any difference when you look down there, you know. At the end of the day, we just move right back to where we were. Where were you before you were born? Is that the same place you'll go after you died? You come and you get a body, you live in that body, and then after that you leave the world and you left the body behind. Such an experience for all of us, huh? So here we are at the resting place of Lloyd Ramtali. This sounds like somebody who was an Indian. You know, the Indians. But who knows? So it says, in loving memory of Lloyd Ramtali, died March 29, 1968, age 55 years. Roy Ramtali. I don't know if there's any black person who's called Ramtali. So this person, if they weren't Indian. They probably were half Indian, but there's some Indian background to that name. Ramtali. I'm passing here and it seemed like there was a grave here and it got covered up because the headstone is sticking out. The headstone is sticking out and it says, in loving memory of Beatrice Morgan. Says Beatrice Morgan died the 17th of April 1937, age 16 years. So this was it. So let me sum it up. This is the headstone for Beatrice Morgan. No, Morgan. She died on the 17th of April 1937, age 16 years. So her grave is here. But I believe those dirt, over time, those dirt, they come over on the grave and cover it up, then they break off her headstone. So she was 16 years old when she died in 1937. Beatrice Morgan. Morgan. This is the resting place of Gladys R. Scott. So that's Gladys R. Scott. Say, beloved mother and grandmother, 1903 to 1972. The resting place of Gladys R. Scott. Lovely grave here she has. Lovely grave. Absolutely lovely grave. So beside Gladys, we have in loving memory of our beloved mother, Naomi P. R. Scott, died the 27th November 1971. So Naomi is also an R. Scott. So maybe they are sisters because Naomi died in November 1971 and Gladys died in 1972. So this couldn't be mother and daughter. They're likely sisters. Naomi R. Scott and Gladys R. Scott. And I can see that there's another R. Scott up here. Yes. Here's another R. Scott. Vivian R. Scott. So Vivian R. Scott, who departed this life the 23rd of July 1964, age 68 years. So Vivian died first because she died in 1964. Naomi died later in 1971, and Gladys over there, she died in 1972. So it's likely that the three of them are sisters. The three of them are sisters. Has to be. Here we are at the resting place of Pearl Agatha Peter Nelson. So she was Pearl Agatha Peter first, then she married and was called Nelson. She was born in 1930, died in 19... She was born the 26th of the 8th, 1930, and she died the 13th of the 5th, 2002. So she was about what? 71. Pearl Agatha Nelson. Right? All right. And that's the back of the police station there, here in Spalding. The rain is coming down now. You can notice right over there, so the rain is coming down now. Kind of reminds me of my time in Christiana when I was at that. And the graves, the cemeteries look similar. Because if for those of you who watch the video from Christiana, just like this, the graves look, it was a hillside cemetery, something close to this, a little bigger though. And I was in the rain because I say I have to just finish the content. This is the resting place of Alice Uncle, Ankle, Uncle. Alice Uncle died the 9th of March, 1975, age 93. Alice Uncle. I'm telling you, cemetery is so rich with history because I've never heard that last name before, Uncle. Uncle. This grave, you can know that at the time that they built it, a lot of effort was put into it. It was all grilled around. The grill is now rotting away. And the words cannot... I'm not going to spend much time trying to read that one. Wilbert Morris. Wilbert Morris died the 27th of October, 1964, age 63. Wilbert Morris. All right, so I look behind me and I see some graves here in they are grilled up. That there look like an ornament on top of this grave. So let me see if it's possible for me to read these two graves. You're probably not gonna see it well. I don't want to climb over. The rain is falling, kind of difficult. So this is the resting place of Nemor Jebar Harbor. Harbor. This person died on the 14th of December, 1987. Okay, so Salma Haber died 1994, and her husband, Nemar Jebar Harbor, died 1998. And they say on the top of it, in loving memory of our parents and grandparents. So this is the grave of Nemar and Salma. What happened? They buried them on top of each other? Not sure what happened here. So I'm back at the grave with the urnement, and this is the grave of two persons. It say, in loving memory of our dear sister and mother, Myrtle and Irene. You have Myrtle, she was once Toyloi, and then you have Irene Wright, Irene Wright, and Myrtle. So Myrtle died in 1987, and Irene Wright, she died in 1993. Here I am at two graves inside of a grilled up area. This one says, in loving memory of a dear wife, mother, and grandmother, Florence Amanda R. Scott, born 1920, died 2001. And they say, lying in the hearts of those she touched, for nothing loved is ever lost. I'm going to say that again. They say, lying in the hearts of those she touched, for nothing loved is ever lost. That's Florence Amanda R. Scott. Florence is a nice name, you know. And then beside her, maybe this is her husband. It says, in loving memory of a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, Gilbert H. R. Scott, died the 21st of May, 1976, age 75. That's Gilbert H. R. Scott. I believe that's his wife, Florence Amanda R. Scott. All right, here is a grave here. In loving memory of our beloved mother and sister, Mrs. Labimi, what the hell? Labibi Hannah, Mistress Labibi Hannah, Ni Azan. So she was Azan before she became Hannah. All right. She was born in 1890 and she died 1989. Mrs. Labibi Hannah, Ni Azan. And directly behind her, could this be her husband? Could this be her husband? Says, in loving and never fading memory of our beloved husband and father, Nageeb, that's Nageeb, Nageeb Hannah, who died on the 5th of April, 1951? I'm gonna say that's 1951. Age 75. I'll check. Hope I find a record. But like I said, 1951 he died. So no doubt, Nageeb Hannah was the husband of of the lady here buried before him. Right, she's buried right at his foot. Right at his foot, she's buried. Say in memory of our beloved mother and grandmother, Eva Thurb. That's T-H-R no. That's Thorpe. Eva Thurb. Died the 30th of July 1966. Age 86. Eva Thurb. In loving in memory of Clarence Powell Dummy Azan. So that's Clarence Powell Azan. Born 1919 and died 1986. I wonder why they call her Dummy. Maybe she was mute, meaning that she couldn't talk. So they call her Dummy. But the word dummy, it has become an offensive term now, to call somebody dummy. But I remember growing up, they someone who cannot talk, they call him or her dummy. So maybe Clarence Powell Azan was one of those persons. This is the resting place of D.E. Lawton, Nee Lewis. So she was born Lewis, then she married to a man whose last name is Lawton. So D.E. Lawton was born in 1919, the 16th of October, and then she died the 21st of August 1957. So they came and they, tile up her grave. Let me see if this is her husband, no? Because if she died in 1957, I doubt that her husband would still be around. But no, this is not her husband, though the tiling is similar. This is the grave of Theresa Adina Dyke. So that's Theresa Adina Dyke. She was called Mama T. She was born on December 12, 1900, and she died September 2, 1963. Mama T. This is the resting place of C.E. Carpenter, Nee Eaton. So she was born Eaton, the surname, and then she married to a carpenter. Born the 15th of July, 1873, long time ago. Died October 6, 1949. C.E. Carpenter. That's a long time. So, at the time that she died in 1949, her grave was nothing like this. So they came and they tiled it up, and it looked so modern from afar. But as you get closer, you're looking at a grave of someone who died in colonial era, Jamaica. I come across this name again, this Indian sounding name. This grave says, in loving memory of Caleb Ramatali. In loving memory of Caleb Ramtali. Ramtali. Born December 3, 1883. Died June 10, 1975. Caleb Ramtali. Let me see how old he was. Oh yeah, he was way up in age. This is the grave of Tikel Todd Moore Toyloy. So Tikel Todd Moore Toyloy. 1913 to 1968. And beside him is a Toyloy. Henry Chin Toyloy. So that's Tikel over there. And beside him, the headstones are similar. The graves are similar. So, and they're connected there. So I guess they're family members. Same similar headstones. So Henry Chin Toyloy, born in Hong Kong, July 1875, arrived in Jamaica in 1884, and of course he died on the 4th of August 1958. So Henry Chin Toyloy, born in Hong Kong 1875, he arrived in Jamaica in 1884, which is 9 years later, when he was like 9 years old. And then he lived in Jamaica until 1958, when he died. Let me go down here. Let me start down here. In memoriam of Mrs. Ina Reed, born the 28th of December 1904, died on the 28th of October 1970. Wow. Matilda Anderson. Born April 1894 and died in April 1984. So Matilda, you were an April woman. April to April. April 1894 to April 1984. 10 years time, I think, and you would have been 100. This is the resting place of Aziz Fatah. Aziz Fatah. Died June 15, 1973 at age 85. Aziz Fatah. You know, the more I read some of these last names, the more I believe some of these people were of different races, and a lot of them came to Jamaica during the colonial age to live, you know, because the surnames, you can see that they are not originally Jamaicans. A lot of them, or some of them. This is the resting place of Mrs. Hannah Bateman. She was born on April 1, 1913, and she died on November 10, 1974. And beside her is Nellie Bateman. He was born, what's that? July 10, 1908. Died on May 8, 1975. In loving and it says, in loving and unfading memory of Arthur Manley Scott, husband, father, and grandfather, born April 9, 1909, died October 10, 1974. So he was born in 1909 and he died 1974. Arthur Manley Scott. I believe he probably was a rich man. Look at the way his grave is set. And of course, this is his wife. In loving memory of a dear mother and grandmother, Williel Louise Scott, born January 25, 1911, died June 22, 1978. So she died 4 years after the death of Arthur over there. Arthur, her husband. Yeah. Arthur, her husband. This is the resting place of two sisters. That's two sisters. I'm gonna read it. It says, in loving memory of our beloved sisters, Mrs. Rosie Richards, and she died March 12, 1971, age 75. Then over on the other side, we have Mrs. Letty Dor Kirkland. So the both of them were married. Letty Dor, she died on June 20, 1971 at age 85. So these are two sisters. Mistress Rosie Richards, she died March 12, 1971, and her sister died in June 20, 1971. And the both of them are buried here. So over this side is Rosie, over this side is Letidor. This is the resting place of Mr. Percival Reynolds. He was born in January 1891 and he died November 1964, age 73. The grave of Percival Reynolds, 1891 to 1964. Beside Percival Reynolds is the resting place of Bertha Reynolds. That's Bertha Reynolds, born July 16. The year is gone, and died in September, and the year is gone also. This. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can make it out here. Alright, so what I did, I got some water and I wet the grave in order to see what is written here, and now I can see it. It says, in loving memory of our dear mother, Roberta Reynolds, born July 6, 1892, and died September 2nd, 1992. She is, I believe, the wife of Mr. Percival Reynolds, buried here. No doubt. Their graves are attached to each other. But he died all the way back in 1964, and she lived until 1992, husband and wife. So here we have two graves here grilled around. I've looked at them before I start recording, and they appear to be father and son. So I'm going to read the one over here, which appears to be the father. It says, in loving memory of John Henry Simmons, born May 19, 1891, died May 13, 1972. So John Henry Simmons, born 1891, died 1972. And here we have beside him the resting place of Hayden Earl Simmons, born June 7, 1931, died March 16, 1971. So Hayden was born when John Simmons over there was in his 30s, and Hayden died before him. I believe these graves are father and son. And they're there for a long time, you can see, from the 1970s. In loving memory of a devoted mother, Mrs. Theodora MacLeod, died the 23rd of July 1965, age 73. Mistress Theodora MacLeod. This is the resting place of Beatrice Anderson. Beatrice Anderson died age 75 on December 24, 1966. Beatrice Anderson. Beatrice is a nice name. Behind Beatrice, all grilled around, we have the resting place of Rosalind May R. Scott. So here's another R. Scott. Rosalind May R. Scott. She died on the 8th of February, 1972. I love her grave here. You know, nice, cute little grilled around grave. The chain is broken on this grave. Literally broken. I wonder whose grave it was. Let me go up and find out. This is the resting place of Olive Jean James. Died April 8, 1975, age 75. And they say a faithful wife and devoted mother. So Olive Jean, is that Jean or Jean? James. Maybe this is her husband. Oh, look at that bird. Look at that bird. And I guess you're not gonna see him. Might be Olive's husband, Ernie Robert James. Yeah, I think this is her husband. She was born in 1907 and he died in 1995. So he outlived her. Telling you I'm closer to the road. That's the police station over there. Mary Patterson. In loving memory of Mary B. Patterson, died 29th of March 1963, age 81. Mary B. Patterson. These are two graves. These are two graves. I think there was a headstone here. You can obviously see that there was a headstone right here, standing up, but it was broken off. I don't see it lying down anywhere. So this also is a grave, you know. This is also a grave. Oh my God. Inside this grilled up area, we have David A. Jr. That's David A. Jr. And he was called Altie. He was born the 2 of the 2, 1908, and he died the 2 of the 10, 1972. Here we're looking at, there are two names here. You have Gilbert Patrick Turner, 1950 to 1980. Hold on, this is a young person. September 6, 1950 to June 24, 1980. And beside him, we have Lanza Labert-Dean, April 2, 1957 to December 30, 2018. This is all grilled around. You can see that it was painted not too long ago. We're looking here at the resting place of Michael Khalil George Azan, Uncle Mike. So he was called Uncle Mike. October 9, 1903 to August 27, 2008. And there's another name over on the right side, Vida Azan. She was called Miss Lee. She was born July 8, 1911, and she died December 9, 1984. So they would be husband and wife. And then beside them, we have the resting place of Edward M. Azan, who departed this life the 15th of July 1961, aged 21 years. So Edward Azan was just 21 years old when he died on the 15th of July 1961. We have two memorials here. William W. R. Scott, born August 8, 1907, died March 6, 1994. And on top of his grave, we see a headstone there, and it says Clementina R. Scott, who passed on the 13th of January 1964, age 74 years. Sacred to the memory of our beloved mother, Mistress Louise Easy. All right, so the noise of the traffic. The traffic is very loud here because I'm closer to the road. You say Mistress Louise C. Easy, born the 22nd of December 1881, died the 18th of February 1963. Up here we have the resting place, and they describe him. They said, in loving memory of a devoted husband, father, and grandfather, Edward C. Kirby, died the 24th July 1976, age 74. And that over there could be his wife. Let me go closer. It says, in loving memory of a devoted mother, sister, grandmother, and great grandmother, Iris Amanda Kirby, born the 14th. No, born the 14th of the 6th, 1905, died the 30th of the 11th, 1995. So Iris Amanda Kirby died in 1995, and Edward Kirby died in 1976. Yeah, husband and wife. The husband died 1976 and she lived until 1995. This grave here doesn't have any writing on it, but there's a flower pot. Come on, just put even a nameplate on it. Could even put a little nameplate on it, huh? This is the resting place of Ina Saint Anna Ferron, 1913 to 1992. That's Ina Ferron. Another Ferron. This is what's that? Jack Ferron, 1906 to 1981. I think this is a husband. 1906 to 1981, and his wife over here lived until 1992. Wife and husband. The Ferron. All right. I can't make this out. Let me see if I can brush it. I brought some water and I brought a brush. So let me see if I can brush it and figure out who this person is. Right. Alright, so I'm gonna be brushing this off. Yeah, that's clear. Yeah, make that out now. Make that out. Alright, so I've just brushed it and I've cleaned it off, and now we can see. So it says George Alexander Nelson. It says George Alexander Nelson, born. I'm gonna just say 1909 without trying to make out the day and months, and died 1996. So George Alexander Nelson, born 1909 and died 1996. All right, let's continue. Here we're at the resting place of Astley Kirby, 1929 to 2013. That's Astley Kirby. The road is very busy here. Close to the road, we have here, this is in loving memory of a devoted husband and father, Carl Lindo Wiltshire, born December 27, let me say the way it's written. Born 27 December 1935, died the 27 November 2017. That's Carl Lindo Wiltshire. And say, in loving memory of our devoted wife, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, born November 18, 1940, died September 3, 2023. So no doubt, husband and wife. And here we have some small graves here. I think these are also urnment. Here this says, in loving memory of Vida Celestina Bent. So Vida Bent, 18 of the 2, 1910 to the 4 of the 7, 2008. Another urnment here, say, in memory of Thelma A. Gladys Shepherd Bent, beloved wife, mother, and grandmother, November 22, 1910. And this is the resting place of another Bent, David Bernard Bent, 1911. He was born the 23 of the 12, 1911, and he died the 12 of the 3, 2003. And on his grave is say, co-founder of Knox College. So David Bernard Bent was the co-founder of Knox College. Very interesting. So he was cremated, of course, because how small it is. So all of them here are Bent. Vida Bent, Thelma Bent. Thelma was married into the Bent family. She was Shepherd. Her name was Shepherd. Then she married into the Bent family. And then you have the founder of Knox College, David Bent. Maybe he is the husband of Thelma up there. Or was the husband. They're dead. They're dead now. And then you have Donald Heron. He was called Gary, 1967 to 1973. Donald Heron. But he was young. He was young. He was born on April 11, 1967, and he died on October 31, 1973. So he was like 6 years old. Donald Heron was 6 years old when he died. Just 6 years old. I mean, death has no, as they would say in church, death has no respect for age. Once there is life, there's gonna be death. And it could come at any age. All right. Here we are at the resting place of Emma Rebecca Rose, who passed away on the 31st of October 1973, age 83. Emma Rebecca Rose. She died all the way in 1973 at age 83. And then here we have John Theophilus Rose. So this might be the husband of Emma. Oh yes, they are, because they are grilled around together. Not grilled, they are chained around together. You can see that chain. So you would have Emma Rebecca Rose over there, who died in October 31, 1973, and this is her husband, John Theophilus Rose. Oh, so the both of them died the same year. He died the 15th of March 1973, and she died the 31st of October 1973. They died the same year. Here are two graves again that's grilled, chained around together. So I believe you're looking again at husband and wife. Absolutely. Noel R. Jackson, born December 25, 1904, died May 12, 1974. Noel R. Jackson. And no doubt this is his wife. This is his wife. Violet Maud Jackson. I'm not gonna bother to watch the grave. I'm seeing it good. She was born the 1st of April, 1896. And she died the 24th of June, 1979. So she died like about 5 years after the death of her husband. She was a little older than him. Did I read these graves before? I don't remember if I've read this grave before. So, maybe if I did, I kind of circle around, so I don't remember. So if I've read it them before, you know. This is Doris L. Easy, 1911 to 1981. I'm getting to the end of my recording now. Getting closer and closer to the end of my recording. We're looking here at the resting place of Miss I.R. Scarlett, who departed this life on the 11th of May 1959. Miss Scarlett. And this is Mary Harris, devoted and beloved wife and mother, who fell asleep on June 11, 1962. Okay, this is a very old grave. This is a very old grave. It's not even straight. Maybe it's water that turned it, or maybe it was like that from the beginning. This cannot be read. This is the resting place. Alright. Here I'm at the resting place of Sarah Sophia Scarlett. Died the 4th of May 1966, age 82. Sarah Sophia Scarlett. I don't know, but when you hear the name Scarlett, you think of a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Annie Ellis Sherman. That's Annie Sherman. Dear mother and grandmother, born May 7, 1906, died on June 17, 2000. So she was born in 1906 and she lived until the year 2000. Oh God. Wow. Yvonne S. R. Scott, born the 9th of April 1901, died the 8th of June 1938, age 37. So he was young. Look at this headstone. A praying baby angel. This is the resting place of George Atkinson, born August 4, 1912, died April 16, 1994. Alfred R. Alfred R. Scott, born 1863 and died 1944. Alfred R. Scott. Emma Louisa R. Scott. And they said, dear beloved wife of Alfred R. Scott. So this is Alfred Samuel Scott, and this is his wife, Emma. Alright guys, so I'm coming to the end of my reading here. I only have these graves here, 4 graves left to read. I'm going to stand here and zoom in it. Zoom in this one. Says Louise R. Scott Atkinson. So Louise was born Louise R. Scott. Then she got married to somebody called Atkinson. She was born on the 22nd of June 1902, and she died on the 13th of February 1984. And here we have some ornament on her grave. Say, in loving memory of husband and father, Arthur Miller, 1925 to 2013, and Sybil Miller, 1934 to 2016. Husband and wife here. Husband and wife. I'm not sure how they are related to Louise up there, but their ornament is placed on her grave. In loving memory of a dear mother and aunt, Sylvia Christie. She was born in 1932 and she died in 2022. Sylvia Elaine Christie. So she recently died. Well, this is not a recent grave. Absolutely not. Not a recent grave at all. To the point where you can't even read what was on it. It's gone. And the design of the grave, you can see that it's really old. An old grave. Probably from the 1930s. And we come now to the final grave. The final tomb. Whether it's a grave or a tomb, the same thing, right? Here we are at the final tomb. And this person was buried last year. There's a picture of her, an image of her here. Sibling Maud Graham. Born February 19, 1940 and died June 1, 2024. Sibling Maud Graham. I remember seeing another image of her here. So this is a full body image of her. And they say, so when you need her touch and loving gaze, gone but not forgetting in the perfect phrase, smiling from a star that she makes glow, trust she is always there watching as you grow, finding her in the place where the lost things go. Wow. I believe I've read all the graves that can be read. I believe I've read all the graves that can be read. I believe this cemetery is filled. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't see anything. I don't see any space left here. Wow. So I've come to an end of my recording here in Spalding, Clarendon. heading back now to, of course, where to get a taxi. It's very busy here, even though it's the middle of the week. Even though it's the middle of the week, it's very busy now. So we are heading back now. But I think in going back, let me just take a walk through the town here of Spalding. Well, I'm not gonna go through the town. I'm just gonna go where I take taxi to get back to Mandeville, Manchester. Isn't part of Spalding in Manchester? Oh, could be. Yeah, I think part of Spalding is in Manchester, isn't it? I decided to carry my selfie stick this today so I can stretch far away from myself as I'm recording. With the cemetery full, because it appeared full to me. So with the cemetery full, I'm wondering they'll have to find somewhere else here in Spalding to be the cemetery. Oh no. Alright guys, so I just reached a taxi now and I'm getting in. So later